Chapter 10 is about strategy evaluation and development. After identifying the options available in chapters 8 and 9, classical prescriptive strategic management argues that the next strategy task is to select between the options. This involves two aspects that need to be distinguished: one, content, and two, process. By strategy content is meant the actual strategy that is finally selected to meet the objectives of the organisation. Content is about what is in the plan. By strategy process is meant the process of communication and discussion amongst those contributing to and implementing the strategy. Process explores such questions as who develops the plan, how they undertake the task, and where they are located in the organisation. The first part of this chapter investigates content and the second part, process. Under the general heading of strategy content, there are three subsidiary parts. First, 6 selection criteria for content. Second, procedures and techniques. And third, implying empirical evidence and guidelines. Let's go to the first part, 6 criteria for evaluation of strategic options. Criteria 1 is consistency, and this means whether it is in agreement with the objectives of the organisation. Criteria 2 is suitability. This means, is it appropriate for the context of the strategy of the organisation, both internally and externally? There's no point in having a strategy that goes for growth if the external environment is one of severe decline. Criterion 3 is validity. Validity means the calculations and other assumptions on which the plan is based. Are they well grounded and meaningful? Criterion 4 is about feasibility. Feasibility means that the proposed strategies are capable of being carried out. And there will be constraints both within and outside the organisation. Within the organisation, it's not to be underestimated the importance of human resources that are available. Outside the organisation, feasibility will include raising funds and all sorts of other things. Criterion 5 is about business risk. Risk means that the strategy does not expose the organisation to unnecessary hazards or to an unreasonable degree of danger. And criterion 6 is about the attractiveness to stakeholders. Attractiveness means that the strategy is sufficiently appealing to those people that the company needs to satisfy. The next part of the chapter about content covers procedures and techniques. Techniques include discounted cash flow, net cash flow, and break-even analysis, and they're not covered in this brief summary, but a few more general remarks are appropriate. In making an initial selection of the best option, it's important to clarify the basis on which this is done. Evaluation against the mission and objectives is important, but needs to be rigorous and precise if it is to provide real benefit. Non-quantified objectives may be just as important for some organisations. Additional criteria for evaluation include the ability to build on the strengths and core competences of the organisation and to avoid its weaknesses. Generally, in evaluation, strengths are more important than weaknesses, but occasionally a weakness cannot be ignored. Different parts of an organisation, such as the headquarters, the strategic business unit, and those involved in individual projects, will have different perspectives on the evaluation task, and there is a need to recognise this in making the selection. Also under the general heading of content is the issue of applying empirical evidence and guidelines. Sometimes there is evidence from other organisations on strategies that are likely to be more successful than others, and we can consider this in the whole process of strategic evaluation. One useful tool is the life cycle portfolio matrix, on which considers the maturity of the market and the competitive position of the company, and suggests then whether you hold, whether you invest, or whether you abandon your strategy as a result of your position in these areas. There is other evidence as well. In the chapter explores the classic prescriptive model of strategic management in terms of process, how you go about the task. There have been some real problems with prescriptive strategic planning over the years, and it's less popular now than it was. But most companies still need to have some form of planning. They can't just drift along. So it's better to be aware of the problems and cope with them rather than not have a plan. Problems include predictability in the environment, difficulties in the planning procedures, who does what, the top-down nature of procedures, headquarters dominating the whole strategic planning process, and then fourthly, culture, the culture of organizations that will allow the classic model to